Hello. Today I pick up with my Thelonious Monk story. Let's see where we left off. Well, I'm basically at the end of the book, and it just talks about each of his albums, and the author gives a detailed description and review of all of his music, so it's pretty interesting. So let's pick up with Milt Jackson. Blue Note BLP 1509. Milt Jackson, Monk, John Simmons, Shadow Wilson, July 2nd, 1948. Evidence Misterioso, alternate take. Milt Jackson, Sahib Shihab, Monk, Al McKinnon, Art Blakey, July 23rd, 1951. 4-in-1, alternate take. Crisscross, Aronel. Willow, Weep for Me, without Shihab. Milt Jackson, Lou Donaldson as John Lewis, Percy Heath. Kenny Clark, April 7th, 1952. Lily, Tahiti, What's New, Bags Groove, On the Scene, Lily, alternate take. After the Milt Jackson Thelonious Monk Quartet had discharged its obligation to the singer Kenny Haygood with wit and style, they turned to the making of the quartet performances that produced the Monk classics, Misterioso, later spelled with an I, and Evidence. Performances justly hailed by the critics. BLP 1509 opens with recordings by the Milt Jackson Group with John Lewis. These are followed by the fruits of the 1951 recording date with Monk. The standard Willow Weep for Me is a Milt Jackson feature, minus Monk's solo. Monk's accompaniment is relatively conservative. Milt Jackson exploits the chance for relaxed playing in a stepped-up ballad tempo. As on all his Blue Note performances with Monk, his attack here is more aggressive than it was to be with the modern jazz quartet. Crisscross has already been analyzed in detail in the second section of the book. After the statement of the theme, Milt Jackson plays a very fluent solo. Sahib Shihab's contribution is less popish and darkened in a rather monkish way. The composer fragments the thematic material laconically, but quite genially over the lively bounce rhythm. This leads logically to the reprise. Monk's Aronel is in AABA form. It is taken in an energetic but not a rushing tempo. After the piano introduction follows the unison presentation of the theme on vibes and alto sax. Monk then plays an entire chorus, resolutely limited to a paraphrase of the theme. Shihab and Jackson share a chorus in relaxed bebop style before the reprise. Misterioso is an alternate take. The performance is similar to the master, BLP 1510, but minor additions and embellishments. Monk plays a second chorus on his solo. Dilute the concentration that somehow elevates the master to classic status. 4-in-1 is another alternate take. Again, it conforms to the pattern of the master BLP 1511, but the soloists play more fluently here with greater fire and self-assurance. Evidence. At the time of recording, must have been just written. The theme, in any case, appears only in Monk's introduction. This Monk composition would later become famous under the name Justice as the theme music on Art Blakey's Jazz Messengers. After the introduction comes Milt Jackson's straightforwardly swinging vibe solo. Monk's solo is darkly searching and menacing. Then comes a passage of interplay between Monk and Jackson that for Monk's part increasingly relies on thematic motifs. Shadow Wilson supports the whole thing with a bassy style swing beat. Bird and Diz. Clef, MCG 512 CD Verve 831 133-2 bonus tracks see below. Charlie Parker, Hank Jones, Ray Brown, Buddy Rich, March or April 1950. Star Eyes, Blues Fast, I'm in the Mood for Love, Dizzy Gillespie, Charlie Parker, Monk, Curly Russell, Buddy Rich, June 6, 1950. Blue Meadow and Oscar for Treadwell, Mohawk, My Melancholy Baby, Leapfrog. To questions about the one time he recorded with Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie, Monk regularly responded that it was just another recording date. In fact, the numbers on which Monk plays are rather disappointing from a Monk fan's perspective. In addition to the bebop standard My Melancholy Baby, the quintet plays unison line compositions by Parker, typical of bebop. Monk is only a sideman here, advertised for publicity purposes as the mysterious high priest of bebop. Buddy Rich was also brought on board as a calculated attraction. Producer Norm Granz later defended the choice of Rich, saying that it was Parker's idea. In any event, the big band drum star with his swing approach adapts poorly to the frantic bebop style, despite his display of virtuosity in the breaks. The bassist with his supple walk makes up for some of the drummer's deficiencies. Parker, too, is in good form and doesn't let any of these things distract him. Mohawk is taken in bounce tempo. Monk's accompaniment is idiosyncratic in his usual way. Gillespie's solo is enlivened by a bit of byplay with the piano. The brief piano solo consisting of a blues chorus represents Monk at his best. Then comes the bass with its regulation chorus. And so ends the parade of soloists. On My Melancholy Baby, the piano plays a rather dry introduction in anticipation of Parker's usual flashy presentation of the subject. Gillespie clowns a bit with the melody. In his solo, Monk again fragments the material and Parker picks up on the idea. In his paraphrastic reprise, Leapfrog is an up-tempo bebop jump number. Parker and Gillespie deliver an 8-part chase, which Rich is also drawn into before the piece comes to a compelling close. On up-tempo numbers, Rich had a better feel for the pulse of the music and refrains from his usual break in the big band star drummer manner. The later Verve edition of this LP, under the title Historical Encounter Verve Barclay 3606, and the CD edition include alternate takes of an Oscar for Treadwell, Mohawk, and Leapfrog, and 2 takes of Relaxin' with Lee. All Monk's Blue Note recordings with alternate and breakdown takes are now available on the complete Blue Note recordings. Blue Note CDP 8303663. It's 4 CDs. The Prestige Years. Thelonious Monk Trio. Prestige LP 7027. CDOJC 010. Monk, Gary Mapp, Art Blakey, October 15th, 1952. Little Rudy Tooty, Sweet and Lovely, Baya, Monk's Dream. Max Roach replaces Art Blakey, December 18th, 1952. Trinkle Tinkle, These Foolish Things, Bemsha Swing, Reflections. Monk, Percy Heath, Art Blakey, September 22nd, 1954. Blue Monk, Monk, Just Gigolo. This disc collects the most important trio recordings that Monk made for Prestige. It also documents Monk's debut with the label. The first piece in the collection is Monk's celebrated blues, Blue Monk, like Straight No Chaser in this piece. With its chromatic movement, became a favorite of jam sessions. Monk himself takes it in medium-fast tempo. The choruses are clearly structured and defined. Blakey's accompaniment always illuminates Monk's soloing, which employs a wide range of devices from single notes in the right hand to two-handed clusters of block chords. Percy Heath plays a spare, earthy solo, and Blakey follows with a contribution of disciplined energy, which leads naturally to the reprise, or was the reprise spliced on by the engineer. Just a Gigolo is a piano solo. Monk often performed this piece alone. It is perhaps the most beautiful example of what has been called his recomposition technique. He plays with thematic motifs as with building blocks and makes new connections between them with jump, figures in the left hand. In the process, he devotes himself to the theme alone, accounting for the brevity of his interpretation. On Blue Monk and Just a Gigolo, Rudy Van Gelder, the star among recording engineers, was at work, so the sound quality is unsurpassed for its time. Bemsha Swing sounds rather simple, but is characteristic Monk with its 16-bar AABA structure and its deft references to blues tonality and changes. It is powered by an Afro-Cuban percussion figure. The poor engineering and out-of-tune piano of this studio date are regrettable. Monk performs his off-kilter interpretations in an especially declamatory manner provoked by the disagreeable recording conditions. Reflections is a beautiful, medium-fast Monk song with typically shifting rhythmic and harmonic accents. Gary Mapp's bass playing beneath the leader's declamatory execution is solid but falls short of the inventive elegance of Percy Heath, and Max Roach's snare figures are unfortunately hard to hear. Little Rudy Tooty is dedicated to Monk's little son Toot. Dad has paradoxically captured the rollicking spirit of his offspring by adhering to the strict structural limitations of the song form. After each 4-bar phrase of the tooting motive, if you try, you can hear the toddler through the piano clusters, obstinately honking a horn in a spirit of malicious fun. The B section soothingly and on another level logically tries to detract from the tooting, but Toot will not be outdone. He comes back strong in the third A section. The tune is taken at medium tempo. In his solo, Monk works humorous contrast on the thematic material. He is so forceful that Max Roach takes up the rhythmic surface structure, an approach more commonly associated with Art Blakey. Sweet and Lovely, the standard that sounds like what it's called, undergoes a sweet and sour reconfiguration at Monk's hands. Max Roach ratchets it up to double time. Again and again, a cheeky reminiscence of T for Two can be heard in the piano's left hand. Baya is a hammering Afro-Cuban song by Monk. The interpretation sticks to the Afro-Cuban groove, highlighting it with thick chords. The rhythmically and harmonically complex song Monk's Dream is played in medium-fast tempo. In the presentation of the theme, the implications of odd meter are brought out in the bass and drums. The tune sounds as if it were a frozen Monk improvisation. Monk's solo is rich in modulations. One can make out a continuously flowing line, such as one might expect to hear 10 years later from Eric Dolphy. Trinkle Tinkle is a thematicized piano strum in medium fast tempo with increasingly fast 16th note triplets in the treble that alternate with regular 16th notes. With the superimposed song form, the piece has a decidedly comic effect, heightened by the percussive figures hammered out on the piano. In his accompaniment and breaks, Max Roach helps to bring this aspect out. On These Foolish Things, the untuned piano is used to good effect to highlight the theme of the piece. Well, thanks for listening and watching. Catch me in the next video. May you find lasting happiness. Bye.